You give your attention, your loyalty, your time, your heart, but deep down you feel something painful. The person you love does not love you the same way. And the hardest part is not the rejection. The hardest part is the hope that maybe one day they will.
Loving someone who does not love you back creates one of the most painful emotional traps a person can experience. From the outside, people say something simple. Just move on, just let them go. But if it were that easy, you would have already done it. Because when you love someone deeply, your mind does not want to accept the truth. It keeps searching for signs, small moments, small words, small gestures, anything that suggests maybe, just maybe, they care more than they show. You replay conversations in your head. You analyze their messages. You wait for their attention. And when they finally give you a little bit of warmth, even for a moment, it feels powerful. It feels like proof that your love might still win. But here is the first truth you must face. Loving someone harder will not make them love you back. Love is not something you can earn through sacrifice. It is not something you can force through patience. And it is not something that appears simply because you refuse to give up.
Yet many people stay trapped in this emotional position for years. Why? Because hope is powerful. Hope convinces you that if you just try a little more, if you become a little better, if you prove your loyalty, the other person will finally see your value. So you give more time, more emotional energy, more patience, more forgiveness. But slowly, something dangerous begins to happen. Your world starts revolving around someone who does not prioritize you. You start adjusting your behavior to keep their attention. You lower your expectations. You ignore the silence. You ignore the distance. You ignore the uncomfortable truth that you are giving your heart to someone who is not protecting it. And over time, the cost becomes enormous. You lose time. You lose emotional strength. You lose opportunities to build something real with someone who could actually meet you halfway. The truth is painful, but necessary. Unreturned love slowly drains your identity. At first, it feels romantic. It feels like loyalty. It feels like devotion. But after enough time passes, it begins to feel like exhaustion. You wake up thinking about them. You go to sleep thinking about them. Your emotions depend on how they treat you that day. And when your happiness depends on someone who barely invests in you, your life slowly becomes smaller.
But there is something even deeper happening inside your mind. Your brain begins chasing moments of validation. When they give you attention, even for a short moment, it creates relief. It creates excitement. It creates hope. That feeling becomes addictive. So you wait for the next message, the next compliment, the next moment where they make you feel important again. But the moments are rare, and the waiting becomes longer. This is how emotional attachment can quietly turn into emotional dependency. And dependency is dangerous because it convinces you that losing this person would destroy you. But here is the truth most people avoid hearing. You are not afraid of losing them. You are afraid of accepting that you spent so much time loving someone who was never truly choosing you.
That realization can feel brutal because it forces you to face something difficult. Your love alone cannot build a relationship. Real relationships require two people moving toward each other, two people investing, two people protecting each other's peace. If you are the only one fighting for it, you are not building love. You are maintaining an illusion, and illusions can consume years of your life. One day, you may look back and realize that the person you were chasing was never actually running toward you. They were simply standing still while you exhausted yourself trying to close the distance. This is the moment where many people finally wake up, not because the love suddenly disappears, but because the cost becomes impossible to ignore.
You start noticing the imbalance. You start noticing the silence. You start noticing how much of your life has been spent waiting. And waiting is one of the most dangerous habits in love. Because while you wait for someone to choose you, life continues moving forward without you. Opportunities pass, growth slows down, your confidence weakens. But the moment you stop chasing someone who cannot love you properly, something powerful happens. Your energy comes back. The time you spent analyzing their behavior becomes time you invest in your own life. Your focus returns to your goals. Your discipline strengthens. your identity begins to rebuild. Walking away from unreturned love does not mean your feelings were fake. It means you finally respect yourself enough to stop giving your heart where it is not valued. That decision is not easy. It requires courage, it requires discipline, and it requires accepting a painful truth. But that truth will set you free. Because the person you become after walking away is stronger, clearer, and far more aware of your own worth. You stop chasing attention. You stop begging for emotional crumbs. You stop shrinking yourself to fit into someone else's limited capacity to love. Instead, you build a life where your energy is protected.
And eventually, when the right person enters your world, something will feel different. You will not need to fight for their attention. You will not need to prove your value. You will not need to guess where you stand. Because real love does not confuse you. Real love does not make you question your worth. Real love meets you halfway. So if you are listening to this and you recognize yourself in this story, take a moment and ask yourself one honest question. How much more of your life are you willing to spend loving someone who is not choosing you? Your time is limited, your energy is valuable, and your future deserves more than emotional uncertainty.